Yes, good morning, students. So now we will continue our lesson, that is which chapter we were doing? We were doing microorganism, a friend or a foe. So today also we have some very interesting topics on this chapters. So let's first we will start by recalling what we studied in our previous classes. So what we studied in our previous classes was we studied what are communicable disease and how pathogens are involved in the spreading of communicable disease, the different causes and the spreading causes that are spreading these diseases, and we saw different preventive measures also. So this was all our yesterday's class all about. Okay, so now we will move on ahead. Before moving on to our today's class and today's topic, I have a little question. So how many of you are having pets at your home? Pets. Okay, it can be anything, a cat, a dog, or any pet, any other special pet that you have. You can write it in the chat box if you have any pet at your home. So yes, I can see some right responses are there. Yes, some have dogs, some have cats. Okay. What else? If you have any? Yes, some have cows, buffaloes. Yes, very good. So yes. So as you have animals at your home, so did these animals ever get sick? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, yes, they got sick. So how was their behavior? Like when they got sick, how did you find it out? What was the change in the behavior that you saw? Yes, like they did not eat for a longer period of time. They were eating less and less. Yes, very good. What else? They started to vomit. Okay, yes. And they started to cry and bark loudly. Yes, for a longer period of time. Yes. So these were some of the behaviors that animals show that they are in pain, right? So what are the doctors called who check up these patients, these animal patients? Yes, you can write your answers in the chat box. Yes, I can see the correct responses. Yes, these doctors are known as the veterinary doctor. So do you think that microorganisms are playing any role in making these animals sick? If yes, you can write it in the chat box. If no, you can still write it. Okay, yes. So most of you have written yes. So let's see how these microorganisms, they play a role in causing diseases to these animals. So let's see what are the diseases. First, we will see some names of the animal diseases, then causative organism, and then mode of transmission. The first disease is anthrax, right? Anthrax is caused by bacteria. What is happening in anthrax is contact with infected meat. Like how this is spread? When they come in contact with the infected meat. Like you all must have seen that dogs and cats, they love eating the meat or the non-veg things. So if they eat the infected meat or contaminated meat, they will also get affected by the disease called as anthrax. Okay. So now coming to the second animal disease, that is foot and mouth diseases. So what is the causing organism is there? Causative organism is virus. And what is the mode of transfer? How this disease is getting transferred? Foot and mouth disease, contact with infected animals or their excretion. So this is the mode of transfer. Now coming to the third disease. So what is the third disease that these animals are getting infected from? Is Aspergillosis. Aspergillosis. And what is the causative organism for such disease? That is fungus. And what is the mode of transmission here? That is air. So these are all these diseases are the different kinds of diseases, right? And these are the different causative organisms and the mode of transfer, like how these diseases gets transferred from one animal to another. So now we will see some pictures of the animals that were infected by these diseases, right? So yes, you can see as here nose is bleeding and eyes are also bleeding, and here the inner parts are bleeding. In these pictures you can see. Coming to the next, like their feet are bleeding here. There is some infection in their feet and their mouth. So this was all about the different types of diseases these microorganisms cause in the animals. So who was the scientist who first discovered, right? The diseases in animals. Let's see. So it is, who is he? It is Robert Koch. In 1876, discovered the bacterium. He discovered a bacteria that is Bacillus anthracis, which causes anthrax disease in animals, right? So he was a very famous scientist, and he discovered, and because of him, our animals are safe now because we have medicines. We have developed medicines for them. Okay, so now coming on to the next part of our slide. So now coming to the curiosity question, you have to solve this question on your own. Okay, so do you think animals like cattle and poultry being affected with any kind of disease impact human being as well? Yes or no? If yes, and how they are impacting human beings, and if no, okay, it's fine. You have to give your answers in the chat box, and then we will discuss it later on in the next class. Okay, so now we will move on ahead and coming to the evaluation question for this topic that we just read, like how microorganisms are affecting the animals and causing diseases in them. So anthrax is caused by which bacteria? Which bacteria was it? Yes, the scientist who discovered, Robert Koch, discovered the bacteria that causes anthrax was Bacillus anthracis. Yes, so you all answered it correctly. Okay, so now if you have any doubt, I'm giving you 5 seconds or 10 seconds to write your answers in the chat, write your questions in the chat box. If no, then we will move forward to our next topic for today. Okay, I will wait and then we will continue with our next topic. Okay, so I see there are no doubts. Okay, so was it all clear? Okay, so now we will move ahead to our next slide. So yes. So let's see what our next slide is having. So there are some pictures of plants you can see. And what is happening to these plants? Yes, you can write in the chat box. What is happening to these plants? Yes, as you can see, these plants are damaged, right? Right here, as you can see, this plant has gotten yellowish, brownish. And here we can see there are some, what is it? The leaf is torn in between into several pieces. So in both of these pictures, we can say that the plants have been infected. So as right now we saw that how microorganisms, they infect the animals, but these pictures are showing. So do you think that microorganisms are infecting plants also? Okay, we will find it out now, right? Okay, so let's move on ahead and see some more. We will see some more details, like how these microorganisms are causing diseases in plants. So first we will read some plant disease. Okay, first disease is citrus canker. Citrus canker is caused by which organism? Bacteria. And its mode of transmission is air. Then coming to the next plant disease, that is rust of wheat. And what is the causative organism here? Fungi. And the mode of transfer is air and seeds. Coming to the third plant disease, that is yellow vein mosaic of bhindi, right? In ladyfinger plant. So who is causing, which organism is causing this disease? It is virus. Okay. And what is the mode of transmission here? It is insects. So these are the different diseases caused by the different microorganisms in plants and their mode of transmission. So now we will see some pictures of how plants are getting affected by these microorganisms, right? So coming on to the next part, see, right here you can see, this is the citrus canker. As you can see, what is happening to this fruit? Yes, there you can see some patches, right? And then as you can see, this is the wheat plant. What happened to the wheat plant? Which disease was happening? Wheat, rust of wheat, right? So this is the rust of wheat. This plant is suffering from rust of wheat. And what was the second disease? Yellow vein mosaic of bhindi. So you can see yellow color is visible, clearly visible here. So this is the yellow vein mosaic in ladyfinger plant. So this was all about the diseases caused by different microorganisms in plants, right? So first topic we read was the diseases caused by microorganisms in animals. Second topic that we read was the diseases caused by these microorganisms in plants. So let's see what is now coming to our curiosity question for our second topic. Let's see what question awaits us. So yes, do you think these diseases affect the crop yield in any way? Like, the plant is getting affected with these diseases, but do you think anyway it is affecting the crop yield? If yes, you have to give your reasons, right? And how we can prevent it. Okay, I can see the right responses. Yes, that it is affecting the crop yield, because if the plant will get disease, then it will produce less crop, and most of the crop will be spoiled. Sometimes the crop may not grow even. Yes, very good. Yes, you all gave the right answers. So how can we prevent it? By giving medicines to the plant in the form of fertilizers, pesticides, or any nutrient that they are missing. Yes, very good. So you all answered it correctly. Now coming to our evaluation question. The mode of transmission of yellow vein bhindi. Yellow vein mosaic of bhindi is air, water, insects, or seeds. What do you think? The correct answer here is, okay, so I see that most of you are giving the confused answer. So let's see what was the main vector or the mode of transmission here. It was insect, right? It was insect. So now we will mark the right answer here. What is the mode of transmission here? It is insect. So yes, so now this is the end of our second topic. Now coming to our third topic. Okay, so how many of you have recently been to a party? Any one of you? Yes, because it is wedding season. So all of you must be going to the different parties, right? Okay. And you must be eating the food there, right? Okay. So how many of you suffered by eating that food the next day? Yes. I can see some of you are saying, yes, you suffered. So what happened? What actually happened? Yes. What actually happened when you ate the food and you're suffering? You can explain it with the help of these pictures also. Yes. You can see the right responses that some of you are saying that you vomited. Okay, there was stomach pain, headache. Yes, very good. And loss of appetite also. Okay, yes. So how will you give a scientific term for all these symptoms that you are facing? Any scientific symptoms like any kind of poisoning? Yes, very good. It will be food poisoning. So coming on to our next slide, let's see what food poisoning is. So food poisoning can be due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. The disease caused due to the presence of large number of microorganisms in the food or due to the presence of some toxic substances in food formed by the actions of microorganisms is called as food poisoning. So this was all about food poisoning. So now we will move on ahead and see some more details about food poisoning. So this was the general introduction. Okay, so now the microorganism which cause food poisoning come into food from, where does it come? From air, from dirty hands, right? Dirty hands and unclean food containers, flies, cockroach. So these are the different modes of transfer of these microorganisms which are causing the contamination of food and then leading to the food poisoning. So now coming to the third slide, let's see some more details. So what are some of the most common examples of bacteria that causes the food poisoning is called the Salmonella, the bacteria Salmonella and Clostridium Botolinium. So these are the two bacteria that are causing the food poisoning. So yes, so now I think you all are clear with the concept of food poisoning. Now coming to our curiosity question for today, that is, what precautions should you take to prevent yourself from getting affected with food poisoning? Okay, let's think. Okay, I will give you 5 seconds to think and then we will discuss. So yes, you all you are answering. Okay, yes, your answers are correct. We can avoid eating outside as much as possible. If we are eating, we should keep in mind our hygiene of that place. Yes, very good. What else? We should only eat from stalls that are wearing gloves. Okay, yes, this can be one of the reasons. And always eat the food that is covered. Yes, that is also one of the point. So yes, you all gave the right answers. Now we will move on ahead to our next question. The most common example of bacteria that cause food poisoning is Salmonella, Clostridium Botolinium, or Bacillus Anthracis. So which one is it? Or both 1 and 2? Okay, you are giving right responses. It is both 1 and 2. So yes, you all gave the right responses. Now coming to the recapitulation part. So what all things we studied today is, first what you have to do is you have to list the disease causing microorganism in animals with appropriate examples. Then we studied about like various microorganisms that are causing diseases in animals, right? And then we studied about various microorganisms that are causing diseases in plants. And then we studied about the concept of food poisoning and how is it causing harm to the human body and how is it caused. So this was all the things that we did today. Now coming on to our homework part. So these are the 2 questions that you have solved, that you have to solve in your notebooks, and coming to the activity. In this activity, what you have to do is you have to go to a garden or a park. You have to observe all the plants and see if there are some plants which seem to appear different from others with respect to their leaves, stems, etc. And you have to click pictures, right, of those differences and paste them in your notebook. And check with the help of internet about disease what disease they might have been caused to the plant. And you have to prepare a chart about it. Okay. So this is the activity. So are you all clear with the today's concept? What all we read today? Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask in the chat box. Otherwise, we will end our class here. Okay. So yes, thank you students for attending today's class, and we will meet in our next class with some exciting topics. Okay, thank you.